Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adli Abrams, a registrar currently working in George Hospital. I'm doing my training through the University of Cape Town. So I'm doing my first year out of a 4-year program in George Hospital, and then I will go back to the circuit day in Cape Town. So I thought I'd do this video. It's the appropriate time. As you can see by the lighting, it's middle of the night. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. It was a busy night, busy day. It's a Saturday call. It was a bit busy, but thankfully we're on the last stretch of the call, which is always great. I did manage to get some sleep, which is great. I got about half an hour, but I thought I have to just put out this video because it's there's not much time otherwise. So this is actually a benchmark a video that I wanted to make. It's basically my 6 months update, because I've been a registrar now, a pediatrician in training for 6 months. So I thought I'd update you guys just about my experience and some thoughts that I've been having about it. It's such a strange thing because when I became a doctor a couple of years ago, not that long ago, I was like, okay, I've achieved my goal. I'm a doctor. That's great. I'm going to start helping people. But then I realized, oh, wait, what do I do now? There's so many options. You can go into private practice as a general practitioner. You can just work in the government forever. What do I want to do? And I had this massive calling towards pediatrics. My friends at campus will tell you that it was always there since university days, since undergraduate days. But I definitely felt it in my internship. But the thing is, I didn't know how to become a pediatrician. It wasn't something that was taught, or a specialist even. It wasn't something that was taught to us. I didn't know any pediatricians. I didn't know at the time when I was studying. I didn't know how that, it's a very difficult thing. So I luckily got placed at Red Cross Children's Hospital for my community service here, and then my path was quite set for me, and I was surrounded by amazing people that were so hardworking and dedicated. So I was quite inspired. But I did not take this lightly, and that's why I delayed my application for a little bit, and I delayed writing the entry examinations because I wanted to be completely certain that I wanted to put myself through this, because it's not an easy process. These 4 years are going to be very tough, I know. So yeah, I just feel the main thing I want to express is that I have an immense sense of gratitude to so many people in my life that has helped me get to where I am. First of all, to the Almighty, Allah's literally blessed me so much with putting things in perspective for me, and making my life go according to an unusual plan that I would not have expected at all. So I'm extremely grateful to the Almighty, and I'm just making so much shukr and dua, and yeah, it's overwhelming. And then obviously massive gratitude to my family who have supported me from day one. They never once were like, oh, Adli, this may be out of your depth or something. They were always like, go for it, do more, go for it. And supporting me, especially when I wrote my examinations. I was a little bit moody, just a little bit. So they put up with all that mood swings and everything, and the late nights, and kept me going. And then to my colleagues, when I was a medical officer, you're in the trenches with other medical officers, and you're working so hard, and it's difficult and it's exhausting and emotional, and you are working with such amazing colleagues, and I'm so grateful to them and my seniors and even my juniors. My seniors being the registrars when I was a medical officer, and my specialists, and my juniors being my interns and my students. I've learned from all of them. I've learned how not to do things mostly, especially with attitude and stuff, I think. I always like to see how I can improve, and I take the good from people and I leave the bad. I'm trying. It's something you have to try to achieve. Yeah, so what I've noticed is that the main difference with coming from a medical officer, where you're just a general practitioner, and then you're working in pediatrics, and then you're moving on to the registrar program, the main difference is the responsibility. But thankfully, I always worked at that level where when I was a medical officer, when I was an intern, I assumed a lot more responsibility than was needed. Because I like to work at that level, and because if you assume that responsibility, you actually more conscious of what you're doing. That's what I feel. That's how I worked at it. You can do whatever you want, but that's how I did it. So I found the transition to registrar time quite enjoyable. Because I've always worked at this level, and I've always been the one to try to problem solve, and so I've just been continuing to do that. The main difference is that is the probably the learning. You get to this point where you're completely new to pediatrics, and pediatrics is a scary discipline. Any doctor will tell you pediatrics is completely scary. Because everything is different. It's completely new medicine, completely new medicine. If you are in surgery, orthopedics, gynae, obstetrics, internal medicine, adult medicine, geriatric, old people medicine, it follows the same criteria, and the people, and they're all adults, and they have say similar physiology, and the anatomy is all the same. But when you come to pediatrics, everything is different. You just chuck everything out the window, and here's a completely new textbook on medicine. So it's very daunting in that way. So when you start off in pediatrics, it's very much like, oh my word, it's so scary. And then I gained a lot of confidence quite quickly, thankfully, with the way I've been working. And then you become super confident. And then you start learning. And then you start studying. And then you're like, oh no, this confidence is very much misplaced. Because the more you learn, the more you realize, oh wow, I know nothing. And there's so much to learn. So it's quite a humbling experience. But yeah, thankfully, that's when you work as a team. And I'm thankfully in George Hospital, I'm part of this amazing team of people. They are just so good and down to earth and hardworking. So I've not had one bad experience here, and thankfully, I've learned so much from the people, and I'm taking home so much for my own personal development, and also the education that I've gotten over here, the one-on-one personal teaching and the learning curves. I didn't expect this when I came here. I thought, oh, okay, it's going to be a very chill place. The medicine's not going to be that hectic. Whoa, was I wrong? We see some incredibly sick children, and we have to manage the very, very sick with very little resources. And we're understaffed and overworked, and George itself, the town, is growing exponentially. So we have a massive patient burden also. But it's been thankful we've been managing, we've been coping quite well. And also another thing is that, you get this high when you're registrar. Actually, I didn't notice it at first. I thought, okay, I'm just working, and I just started the new job, and I hit the ground running with a sick patient. You just start working. I didn't really notice the jump to being a registrar, actually, because I just went and started working until I had to sign a form, and then they asked you what's your medical rank, and I thought, oh, and I almost wrote the line to start writing medical officer. I thought, oh wait, I'm actually a registrar now. That's so a pediatrician in training. And I wrote that I felt, okay, we're getting there. We're moving in the right direction, I think. Alhamdulillah. So it's been very nice. And you're on this high from that, and then you get humbled because pediatrics is a very humbling experience. It's a very natural, very human thing, because you're dealing with sick children, and it's very different. And every little procedure that you do is extremely difficult. Even, for instance, putting up an IV, intravenous access, so basically dripping a child, can go well, but many times it can be the most humbling experience. um, and as you're going along, you realize the vastness of information that you have to take in and study and learn, and not only through an educational perspective, but also through life. You're seeing, if you're working in the nursery, you are seeing life and death constantly. If you're working in just general pediatrics, you are seeing extreme potential in children and personalities developing. It's amazing. It's quite an amazing thing to be a witness to. And alhamdulillah, I'm very fortunate to be in that position, because it's a massive, massive life lessons that I'm learning. And what's also humbling is the resolve and bravery of the children. They are so resilient. they go through so much hardship. Oh my word. Being sick is one thing. Being sick as a child and terminally ill or critically ill or chronically ill as a child growing up, and it affects your schooling, affects your life. Oh, it's so difficult. And kudos to the mothers who are, and the fathers who are, the extended family who are present and ever engaging and asking lots of questions and helping raise children that aren't their own, and raising children alone like single moms and single dads do. uh, it takes so much. When you see that human spirit, you think, wow, it can, who am I to complain about my life? It can get so much worse. It can be so very difficult, and it's a humbling experience. So this is a bit of a rambling set of thoughts at 3 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, that's basically what I've been thinking about as my first 6 months as a registrar. And we have a long way to go in this country, with patient education, and service delivery. But I can tell you with 100% certainty that the doctors that I've worked with and the nurses and the staff that I've worked with have just been giving everything they can to ensure that the children are given the highest level of care, not only just in terms of the medicine, but also just being humane and loving and sweet and compassionate and empathic. It's been truly humbling. And now that I'm in this position, I can see it at a bit of a macro level now, and I thought, wow, um, this is no small feat that we are trying to achieve here, and it's going to be very difficult. But I think if we all use the right attitude and we work together, I think we can definitely come out on top and do some very good work. And who knows, maybe the next future stars of the next world, who are going to change the world from this pediatrics ward. And yeah, so we have to put everything we can, and life is precious. So we have to do everything we can to assist these kids, and I'm quite humble and grateful to be in this position. And I'm looking forward to the next 6 months, and in the rest of the program, and in my future career as a pediatrician, inshallah. I'm very excited, and I'm appreciated to everyone who's supporting me, and to the patients and the families and the staff. It's a lot of people to it's a lot of people to thank. But yeah, I'm gonna sip on some tea now. It's getting cold. I hope you have a lekker one, guys, and please like and subscribe. I would like this channel to grow so that we can be teaching and educating people on just general pediatric care, anything that you like. So if you are someone who is looking after a child, as a parent or a guardian, or even in medicine as a doctor, nurse, or whatever, occupational health therapist, whatever, any allied specialist, I'm hoping that this is going to be beneficial. And it's also just some lekker vibes, it's we hear so many nasty things in the news, and it's just bad news all the time. So I'm also here to try and just spread a little positivity, and show you guys the good side of everything and the good work that my teams are doing. So yeah, please like and subscribe, comment, and see what I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Obviously, you can disagree if you want, it's fine. But these are just my experiences, and I'm still young in this. So I'm still very green. I'm sure I'm sure my opinions will change, and you never know. We'll see what happens. So I'm quite grateful to this, and I'm thankful for everyone that's liked and subscribed and commented. Let's grow, guys. Let's grow this community. Let's grow this village. It's all about helping kids. Sharp, guys. Bye.